Hey Libra, welcome back to Distilled Tarot. My name's Shannon. I'll be guiding you through today's reading. This is our daily reading for July 16th. Let's see what's going on with Libra. The heart of your reading, we have the Lovers. So most likely this is going to turn out to be a relationship reading. We'll see how things develop. If that's the case, it's more than likely someone that you're already in a relationship with. If that's not the case, then I would say this feels like your aspirations for the type of relationship that you want to be in. Things seem to be moving quickly, regardless of which type of story we're talking about for you. With the Eight of Wands here at the bottom of the deck as the Lovers came out. Lots of momentum. It's taking on a life of its own. The challenge being the Tower in reverse. Perhaps one or both of you are experiencing some sort of big shakeup in your lives, or you're trying not to let the intensity of your connection pull you off course of the general direction of your lives. The two of you connecting may represent some sort of shocking situation to those around you, and you may be needing to contend with reactions to your relationship. Show me your focus. Wheel of Fortune. You feel so lucky right now. You feel so elevated, like it was always supposed to be this way. You're looking in hindsight at patterns in your life that you would have wished would be as good as how you're feeling about things right now, and feeling fortunate. Grateful, perhaps. Show me the recent past. Two of Cups. Clarity, Ace of Swords, about a decision to commit to one another in love and or romance. Lately, the trend in viewership seems to be really veering away from wanting relationship readings. Anytime a reading lately that I've been putting out turns out to be primarily about relationships, I'm seeing the feedback being very like upset at me for putting out such content, as though it's like a cheap attempt to satisfy people's desires to hear the positive stories about relationship. And I assure you, if the Lovers and the Two of Cups represent anything, this is a commitment that you make in love. Now, if we're not talking about relationships for you, anything that you feel purely toward, anything that you love and commit to, and there's a sense of reciprocity in it, it doesn't have to be another person at the other end of that equation. That's just, by and large, the most typical expression of that sort of a commitment when it's about love. So that's how I'm going to describe it. And if it doesn't fit your story, then either the reading isn't for you, or it's applying in a different way. And I always encourage you to apply it as you see it fitting your situation. When I'm giving a reading to the general public, I can only describe one or two different possibilities of how these energies could manifest. But it is entirely possible that it's manifesting for you in a different way. If it sounds like, well, it's not a partner I'm committing to, but it's this new passion in my life, it's this new endeavor, or this new commitment to loving myself, all of these things can be possible. The crowning position in your reading is the King of Wands in reverse. And when the King of Wands came out, we have the Queen of Wands, demonstrating a clear pair here. And I think this feels like to me that in this instance, where our societies may kind of have the template or the social norm being the patriarchal figure, the masculine figure being the one who is at the helm of the relationship or sort of driving the narrative forward. In this case, I think it's flipped. I think that the feminine figure in this relationship is the one who is sort of driving the story, setting the pace, approaching the masculine, and that the masculine is taking a more passive role. I don't feel like it's a bad thing, because it's showing up in this position means that in hindsight, you will see this as the positive. You will see this as like, wow, I really found a good one, someone who is willing to humble themselves to their woman, or not feel emasculated by a powerful feminine energy. That sort of positivity to a role reversal of the typical masculine feminine roles when in process of courtship and early stages of a relationship in modern day society. He's not thrown off by you sending him flowers or asking him out or being the breadwinner. He's willing to be a stay-at-home dad in the future and let you be the breadwinner. These are all potential, like, flipping the script in terms of how I'm picking up on that energy. In the near future, we have an important decision about backtracking in some sense. Both swords, the Two of Swords and the Six of Swords, in reverse. So thinking, consideration, weighing the odds about, should I go back or should I not? The Six of Swords implies that you'd exited a problematic environment. When you did, you felt freer, more hopeful, safer. But now there's an important choice to be made about backtracking or reconnecting with that past energy in some way. And I think we're talking somewhat about whatever shakeup was occurring with the Tower in reverse. If someone had to, like, in order for you two to meet or be together, perhaps one of you needed to emigrate from a dangerous home. And now there's a need to go back there for some reason, either temporarily or more long-term. I don't know your situation, but that story of immigration seems strong, the way that I'm tapping into the energy. So I think at least one of you who really needs this message is dealing with a story about escaping a war-torn country and unsure of your visa status with the relationship, and you may have to go back to finish up paperwork, and you're worried about, should I do that? Is it worth the risk? Is that the best way forward? Now, if it's not exactly that for you, and I know it's not for the case for everybody, this could be something more like a same-sex couple, and someone had to get away from a family environment that disapproved of that. and that person is no longer in touch with your family, but you're very happy with the connection. And for some reason, there's an important choice now about needing to, or feeling like it might be necessary to reconnect with that problematic family energy, the disapproving family. Like, is it worth going back there, or do we just avoid it? Show me surprise energy. What is going to impact the situation that Libra doesn't see coming? Chariot in reverse, King of Swords in reverse, Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Everything comes to a screeching halt. Someone lays down the law, puts their foot down, even though they're wrong. It's like a ruling or a decision made from a very limited mindset that stops the momentum or halts you from your progress, perhaps stops you from traveling to a destination that you'd planned on. The Seven of Pentacles in reverse being something that you'd taken for granted was a work in progress, suddenly being canceled or cut short in terms of someone's involvement. Chariot in reverse, King of Swords in reverse, Seven of Pentacles in reverse, combining for one impactful surprise. It's going to create an argument, Five of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Something that your instinct is going to be to push back against. Show me hopes and fears. High Priestess in reverse. I'm not going to see it coming, or I can't trust my intuition. I have too many emotions going on right now. I can't really discern my own hopes and fears from an intuitive knowingness that's my higher self trying to guide me, or God trying to guide me. This could be an issue of a difference in spirituality. The whole, like, you know, I'm trying to put a name to whatever this energy is of why it feels like upheaval or shocking, or some sort of environment, your environment disapproving of the relationship. This could be like two people of different religions who have parents or family or people surrounding you who disapprove of the union because of religion or the lack of religion. That hit. I got a strong confirmation that for a lot of you, that's what we're talking about here. This is like someone from a strong Christian upbringing wanting to be with an atheist or a witch, or someone who's practicing in the occult in some way. In which case, the High Priestess in reverse would represent like a desire to keep that private, to not let it be exposed to anyone who might, like, let me say it like this. Like, if it's none of their business, they don't need to know what you're doing with your spirituality. If they're going to judge you, then block them from that energy, right? So the hope and the fear with the High Priestess in reverse, if that's how it's expressing for you, might be a desire to keep your spirituality private, to not have it be anyone else's business, who might try and bring their viewpoints and impose judgment upon your lifestyle because it doesn't match what they believe. Show me the end result. Page of Pentacles, Nine of Wands at the bottom of the deck. You're going to persevere, and the key that keeps you in this struggle, willing to keep going despite adversity, is some sort of lesson or a new skill that you're learning. Page of Pentacles to me is the student of the deck, but in a very hands-on, practical sense. It's not like learning math or science. It's more like shop class or sewing, home ec. It's the where you get busy like holding something tangible, putting it together, making something. It's not about concepts and the mind. It's about tangible. Anyway, so you're going to want to stick this out, perhaps because you start looking at it as something that you can, for some of you, it's something that you can monetize. You're like, I've been going through this in life, and it was just a struggle if it's me personally, but if I can actually harness what's going on here, turn it into something tangible in the form of like, well, I don't know if a video is tangible. I guess somewhere it's stored on a physical server, right? Okay. Because I'm getting this example of how this might express where you're experiencing this hardship or pushback or persecution even from the outside world because of your relationship. And the Page of Pentacles might represent you saying, oh, you know what, I could actually make a series about this, or I could turn this into a course, like how I have combated this, or I could write a book about this and sell it. I could start a podcast with me and my partner talking about a Christian and an atheist being in love and persevering despite the challenges. It's taking the adversity, putting a spin on it in a way that's useful, and you're learning something new about it and potentially making money off of it as well. Show me advice for Libra. We have the Two of Wands, Five of Pentacles. So your environment throughout this reading seems to be pushing one of you out, right? Whichever one of you is being ostracized, or perhaps both of you, ostracized from your community or family in some way. That's the Five of Pentacles. The Two of Wands coming out at the same time as a combined message adds this energy of intrigue. Like, it's not just about escaping or being ostracized, but it's the new pathway that emerges after the fact that is the point, or that is the interesting part. You're on a path in one direction, heading out of what seemed like home or seemed like you belonged there. And then suddenly, after you exit that scenario, you might think, well, I'm just like, my life is going to be a certain way now. But because you're free from that, what's the word? oppressive environment, some new opportunity becomes apparent to you to take a path in a new direction. When that occurs, your advice from Spirit is to consider it well. Like, give it your full consideration. Your free will is your free will, whether or not you take this new path that's going to be offered to you. But at least, like, give it your full consideration is the advice. It's not something to just pass by and ignore. And it holds a lot of potential. Could be something positive if you choose it. And I think that might be the choice that's implied here with the Two of Swords in the near future. The new path may be of interest to you, so give it some consideration. So Libra, I hope that helped. Have a great day, and I'll see you back tomorrow.